Welcome back, Benchwarmers. After we made our 2024 NFL division predictions, it is time to focus on the other kind of football we love this time of year, fantasy football.
You know, I'm a little burnt out on fantasy football myself, so I didn't renew my league this year. However, as we get closer, I still have the itch to play. So Corey and I have decided to try and coach a noob to victory. I'm Brendan, fantasy football coach.
I'm Corey, two-time fantasy champ.
I'm Nando, first-time fantasy player, and this is our view from the bench.
Before we get started, if you're not already, don't forget to subscribe to the channel, hit that notification bell so you never miss any one of the new episodes.
Also, if you could please do us the favor, if you like what you see or hear, please don't forget to smash that like button.
Smash it for us, come on. It's free. It's free for you, it's free for us. Helps out the channel a lot more than you probably think. All right, man. We got our football kicked off, pun intended, I guess, with our division picks last week. We got AFC and NFC. Go check out those episodes if you haven't already. You can see who we think is going to win each division. Actually, we have placement for everybody in each division, so go see where we put your team at. But as you stated in the intro, fantasy football is another lovely game we love to play. I know I kind of stated in the top. Corey and I have been playing fantasy football for a long time, so we might be a little bit burnt out on it, but we still pay attention to this stuff, obviously, for this podcast. So we decided that we wanted to try to be involved. By doing so, we've got our friend Nando here. Nando, you want to say what's up? Maybe give us an intro into how you got us involved.
Well, hello. My name's Nando, short for Fernando. I started off with a lovely 30 minutes to just get my idea known for fantasy football, but
Ouch.
it is well known that I don't know anything about anything football related besides the Raiders, Raider Nation for life. It's a family for sure.
Not so bad start.
Family team.
True.
You know, just a family friend here to learn more about fantasy football.
That's right. So Nando basically had 30 minutes. They said, "Hey, you're on a fantasy team. Be here in 30 minutes to draft." And that was it. So did the best he could. Well, you kind of just went with people you knew, right?
Yeah, I heard
Any name you
names
knew?
I've heard before, and then besides that, like the last two picks I had were just like the name.
Just grab bag ones. Hey, whatever works, man. Sometimes it starts like that. So let's get into it. As you discuss, you know your fantasy background. We'll kind of give a little bit of tidbit of information. We got a screenshot up here about a little bit of background that we've got. As you can see, as you know, Nando's got none. Corey, what about your background?
Yeah, well, like you said, we started playing this a long time ago. College dorm life was a big part of that. I was in like 3 or 4 leagues at once, took a couple years in a row. So if you look at it on YouTube and you saw our numbers and how many games I've played or been a part of, it may look like multiple years, but it's probably a lot less. It's just a lot of games in a short period of time. But 2 titles between Yahoo and ESPN, so 1 in each, and then a couple second and third places, which last year was 3rd place, I think, in our league, so I got my money back.
That's right.
You know.
Yep.
That's all I'm trying to do is not lose money. So last year was a win for me. And if that's the last time I ever play and now we just help Nando win, I'm in.
Let's get it. Nando, what's the buy-in?
Actually, I think it was $100.
Ouch.
I wouldn't fully know because I don't know if it was a joke or not, and they haven't asked me to pay anything yet. So
okay, don't bring it up.
They called me last second, so I have zero clue on that
Hey,
buy-in.
Yeah, you should. That's true. You get like a half off for being last second for sure. I didn't look up all of my previous stats on ESPN. I know I played a couple, but most of mine have been on Yahoo. As it's stated on the screen here, 16 seasons, at least a winning record, not extremely great, but over 50%. I'll take it. Got 4 championships, a 2nd and a 3rd place. Last year, I think I came in 4th or 5th. I didn't quite have it last year. So congrats on your making your money back. So good job.
Woo. That's all I wanted to do.
All right. Okay, so now you got a little bit of background of who we are and why we're doing it. Let's kind of break into Nando's team, and we're going to start with just let's get a glimpse of what Yahoo thought of his draft. So at the end of the fantasy draft, if you don't know already, they give you a grade based on how well you did. It's an A to F scale, just like normal here in the United States. Nando, you said what'd you get on that grade?
I have the same grades I got in high school, D.
Nice. Well, you passed high school and you just barely graduated, which was just this past spring. So congrats on that. But a D, not the best. However, it's not the end of the world. But I can see why you got a D, man. It's not the best. So, but like you said, dude, you're just picking on names and you didn't have much time to kind of go with it. What do you think, Corey?
Well,
Yeah,
Oh,
I
sorry,
think,
Nando.
like you said, having 30 minutes to like even get involved and not knowing anything except Raiders, but only having one Raider on your draft, that's pretty solid. I don't know how many more you'd want to take anyway. But, oh no, you have two. I lied. You have Bowers. You have
two.
two.
Yeah, Brock Bowers. Yeah.
But the only problem is you had two kickers. Other than that, it's not the worst draft in the world I've seen. But at the same time, I think last year I got a D draft grade. But once the draft's over and you forget about guys you don't need, or maybe at the end, like you said, you're just picking names and you find somebody else on the free agent list you like better and you swap out. So like that doesn't necessarily mean that's your final roster. So don't worry about the grade too much. It's like screw Yahoo on their grades.
It's a good point. I think you did have a pretty bad grade last year, and you ended up, in third place. So it's really about the moves you make throughout the season, staying on top of it, making sure that you're picking up people who are hot, taking some chances here and there. But don't worry, Nando. That's what we're here for. We got you for your first time. In fact, your brother's in this league. A lot of your family's in this league. And his brother actually came to me and said, "Hey, bro, check out my fantasy team. What do you think about it?" I was like, "Hey, man, actually, I'm taking. I actually can help you in this because I've already been poached. So I'm already coaching another team, and I can't help you out." So yeah, exactly. Nando struck first, but it is what it is. Okay, so from the grade, let's go and show what the roster was that he drafted. Get a better idea of why Yahoo gave him this grade. It should be up on your screen for those, if you see it here, for this on YouTube. But let me just kind of give a quick reasoning from my opinion about why he did it for those for the Spotify audience. Fourth overall, he decided to draft Jake Moody, a kicker from the Niners. Now, granted, Jake Moody can kick, and the Niners can score. But you never, ever take a kicker. I mean, some people don't even draft kickers, let alone taking them in the fourth round. So I could see that one. Back-to-back tight ends with Njoku and Bowers. I think Yahoo doesn't grade well on that because there's only one tight end position. But I think it's actually a pretty good pickup because I think they're both good tight ends. Another kicker, even though you already picked one in the fourth round, getting Evan McPherson in the 10th round, not great. A couple defenses. Luke McCaffrey from Washington. I think he was drafted in like the 8th round or something like that. I know there's only 7, but so it's just little things here and there. Oh, okay. Little things here and there that I would pick apart. But this was his initial roster after the draft. Thoughts, Corey?
Well, like you said, two kickers. Not that they're not both really good kickers, but you can't play two, so that was a bad one. The Njoku Bowers thing, I don't think is that bad because, like you said, they only play one tight end. But if you have a flex position, you're more than welcome to play another tight end usually in there. So, and if the way the tight end position is used as a wide receiver, that's not that big deal. I actually think that's a good thing to have to alternate, maybe depending on who's hot at what point in the year. I think Burrow at quarterback is perfect. I think Devontae Adams is good. I think the Kyron Williams good. Yeah, a lot of good things. Just the McCaffrey and maybe the Deontay Johnson at the bottom. But again, at that point, you're just grasping guys to fill the roster for the last couple rounds.
Yeah, Nando. So based on this feedback, I mean, you didn't do too bad, right? Regardless, don't listen to the D that Yahoo gave you. Run with what we got.
For sure, yeah. When I was there, I was picking the names. I had got a list of like the top 25 of everything, like the wide receivers, like every position played.
Each position.
And I was looking at it, I was like, I don't think it's the most accurate based off like it can just be like recent stats, like it can be like the past 2 years on one person. And because my brother, he had Joe Burrow last year, and he's like, he sold me, and I was like, I hope this year he doesn't.
Yeah, that's actually a really that particular pick. See, you know more about football than you thought. That's actually a really great point, Nando, because last year Joe Burrow is probably one of the top 5 quarterbacks in general, but probably top 3 in fantasy because he's just really good. But last year he was hurt. So to your brother's point, yeah, he didn't do that great. But to your point, it's not about what happened last year. Joe Burrow is great in general, so that's actually a good example. Good example. Well, after he, asked us for help, Corey and I took a second to kind of look at his roster. A free agency had opened up. Obviously, they have a plethora of players that weren't picked in the draft. So Corey and I decided to kind of dig in a little bit and switch up his roster a tad. We're going to currently show you on the screen for the YouTube audience the current roster as it stands. We've dropped a couple people and added some others. Corey, can you give me a little breakdown on not necessarily who was, but maybe some of the bigger ones that you liked?
Yeah, the bigger, I think, additions that we made to it was getting Rome Odunze. Now he has a rookie wide receiver, but going with Caleb, and as exciting as Chicago is right now, it seems like on the offensive side of the ball, he might have a breakout year, even maybe offensive rookie of the year. Although if Caleb has a big year, I guess he might beat him for it.
Right.
The other thing I think is getting rid of the Rams defense and bringing in the Eagles defense. I think that's a better opportunity, more veteran, established, and with Fangio there now running everything, I think they'll be better. I think the Christian Watson pickup as well at wide receiver, if he's healthy, him and Jordan Love seem to have a nice connection in Green Bay. And not that it's going to matter in the first 4 weeks because he's out, but the IR spot that we took with Nick Chubb, who after week 5 should be back, and hopefully he's back to his normal self. I think that could be almost like a second draft pick coming out of nowhere because of the IR. So I think overall, nice additions, nicely made. And I feel like if this was the roster at the grade of the draft, it might be at least a C plus, a little maybe even a B minus compared to that D.
That's a good point. Yeah, for sure. Just the fact that we would have helped not take so many kickers. Corey and I have been paying attention to who's up and coming. Roma Dunze would not be anywhere on your list because he's a freshman. he's a rookie, so he wouldn't be on your list, Nando, that you're referring to of top 25 because he has no real place to be yet. This is his first year, but I think he's going to pop off because he was insane in Washington with Penix. So, I'm basically kind of echoing everything you said. I think Christian Watson, I'm hoping he's going to be the number 1 wide receiver. It was weird because every Green Bay receiver was available. It's like nobody pays attention to football because they're all pretty good. In fact, on any given week, they can each be a number 1. We've gone with Christian Watson because we think that one's going to be the lead. When he was most healthy last year, he was their best. But the Christian Watson, the Adunze, and the Nick Chubb stash is probably my 2 favorites, along with cleaning up a little bit of the kicker and stuff like that. So, did you learn anything with all of that, Nando? At least a little bit?
I mean, I learned a little bit just based off of how to entirely work the Yahoo Sports thing. I haven't touched fantasy football at all my 18 years, and I also learned that no matter how much you play and how many notebooks you bring with you, you can still get a horrible draft grade.
Why you say that?
Everyone that I was going against, we had, I think it was a 10-man draft. It was 10 people draft, 10 team, and I saw like the first person that got to pick first. He had this notebook writing everything down. Everyone had their little notepads, and funny enough, with all this information you guys are telling me, it sounds like they aren't doing so great.
Right? So you got the same grade as the guy who was super prepared? That's hilarious.
I think I got a better grade. I forgot.
I think he got a D minus and you got a D, right?
Yeah, I think so.
I feel better about us winning this league possibly now, rebuilding this.
And that's what I'm saying, bro. We got it's 3 minds. Nando's fresh mind on football, and then us with some background. It's over, bro. It's over. Well, let's get into it then. We got week 1 coming up. Obviously, Thursday is when this starts. Everything kicks off with Baltimore in Kansas City, followed by a Friday game in Sao Paulo. Wait, there's 2 games on Thursday?
No, 2 days. I'm saying we're 2 days away.
2 days. I thought you said 2 games. Oh yeah. 2. I know, that's crazy, bro. It's Tuesday night already. Nuts. So we're gonna show on the screen the week 1 matchup. For those of you watching YouTube, for those of you on the Spotify podcast, we'll just kind of let you know we're currently projected to lose by 4 points. But those of you who know fantasy know that 4 points in fantasy is basically nothing. I mean, if the points are actual, then it's everything. But projections are basically just really good, educated guesses. And they could be either really wrong or really right. So showing on the screen is the matchup here. He does have some big guys. The Patrick Mahomes, the A.J. Browns, the Saquon Barkley, and Alvin Kamara. But they do have some kind of tough matchups a little bit. Maybe not Alvin Kamara against the Panthers. But if there's anything good about Carolina, it's their defense, right, Corey?
Oh, yeah, Carolina defense. So good.
Scary. I'm just saying, when they couldn't move the ball last year, Baker Mayfield barely made it into the playoffs. They won 9-6 on field goal tries, basically. So it's better than the offense, I guess is what I'm saying.
Yeah. No, but
so here's
I
the
think
matchup.
Looking at the matchup, before we go too far, looking at the matchup, you're right. He has, Mahomes, Brown, a couple big guys, Wilson, Barkley's in there, Kamara, you mentioned, but I still think overall it's pretty solid. Like Pittsburgh defense against Atlanta, that's like, okay, that's going to be a pretty good matchup. I think they'll be okay. And then Miami defense against Jacksonville. We talked about when we did our AFC previews. I think the Jags are a Jag, just a guy. I don't think they're really good. So
yeah, right.
Miami to do really good and get you a lot of points there.
Okay. All right. So I think you got something here, Nando. Now, if we could start off 1-0, that'd be freaking fantastic. But even an 0-1 start doesn't mean anything. Do you know the playoff format? Like how many people make it?
Not a clue. I'm
Okay,
assuming it's
we'll
like a
look into
bracket
that.
though.
Yeah, it will be a bracket. We'll look into that. We'll tell everybody next week's episode what the breakdown is and what we got to be in order to get into the playoffs. I do know one thing that we forgot to add at the beginning. This is a half PPR league, half PPR. So receivers and catching running backs are more of a priority than anything. So, but that's pretty much where we are for week 1. Quickly before we wrap up this episode, I just kind of want to go over what the format's going to be for future episodes. This is going to be a new series that we've got for this entire football season. We're going to really, really try our best to get Nando this dub. And not only, hopefully he doesn't have to pay the money, but he could get a bunch of money from everybody else that was supposed to pay. So what we're going to do basically, wait, what?
My prayers are sent. I want that Buffalo Wild Wings Super Bowl ring.
Oh, yeah, that's right. There's like a trophy or something at stake, huh?
Oh, my gosh. That's awesome.
Yes, sir.
Okay, we'll have to get a picture of that and show you guys next week, too.
Yeah,
so the general format is going to basically kind of go from review the previous week. So next week we'll review week 1. We'll show what the current matchup is for week 2 as an example. This next week we're going to kind of look for free agents. We'll do our mind stuff, what we're thinking and how we think it and why we'll do it. We'll show it live here on screen, and then we'll wrap up each episode just kind of showing you where the standings are each week. So that way you guys can keep up with where Nando's team is at. Are you excited, Nando?
I'm excited to hopefully, if that buy-in is true, to win some money.
Yeah, very true. Hopefully you don't have to buy in. Corey, this is kind of weird, bro. We've never really, not that we've never been coached because my wife has likes fantasy football and she's tried to play before, but I've also been involved at the same time in the same league. So I've never just solely been in the background, just focusing on as a coach. It's kind of interesting, no?
Yeah, and it's actually kind of like our practice of being a GM. Maybe this is our practice into one day running our own team and having a way to do it. So this is some practice, although not real because it is fantasy, but whatever, practice. We'll see how it goes.
The gist is still there. I get what you mean, bro. I get what you mean. So, but yeah, I mean, this is pretty much it. I'm going to try to come up with a name for it. We'll name this series hopefully by like week 3 at the latest, but hopefully by next week we'll have a name for the series. But yeah, we just like fantasy, and what better way to get involved than showing a noob how it works. We appreciate your time, Nando. Thank you for hanging out, and thank you for being a part of a series. I know that's more of a commitment since it's going to be for the entire football season. So thanks for your time, man.
Thank you guys for your time as well.
Let us know down below, though, in the comments if you like fantasy football, if you're playing this year, how many times you've been a champ, if any. We hope that you guys have. We want to hear your fantasy info down below. Let us know if you think we've got a chance to come back with this roster we've currently got, if you like the moves that we've made, or who you think we should pick up that might be a sneaky pickup. Let us know down in the comments below. But thank you, as always, for seeing things from our view from the bench. I'm Brendan.
And I'm Corey. Like we always say, enjoy the sports until we talk again.
Peace.
Love and positivity.
This was a Sycamore 4th Studios production.